Hey, Kajaria and Hey, Joshua. Kajaria beat you to it tonight, Joshua. How you doing? Hey, Kajaria. How y'all doing tonight? That's good. I hope the rest of your night continues to be just as good. Um, Kajaria, I don't even know yet. We got to get to that. I have to talk to, because not only you are asking about it, but there are several people asking about the shirts, and I just didn't think it was gonna be that quick. But I'm gonna get back to it, and I need to talk to her, um, and see how much it would be for a shirt, and then I'll let you know. Okay. Shalissa, hey girl. I'm just heading off to bed, but I'm gonna listen for a minute. Okay. I'll let you know, Kajaria. Hey, Vibe. Hey, I'm a whole Vibe. How are you? Yeah, I'll let you know. I gotta I gotta get back with Ty and see what she says, and then I'll probably put like a little I said that I'm gonna get it set up do my little shop on here, so that people can be able to get it. But I'm doing okay. Okay, just it is what it is. Yeah. You did some work today? My day was pretty good. I spent my day just mostly out in the garden. I miss you too. I miss you too, working girl. I spent most of my day outside just watering my garden. That's good. Just watering my garden for hours upon hours. I watered all of my trees and everything. So I ain't really do much of anything, but I had a good day. I had a pretty good day. Couldn't get my mind to get off of some of the things that I've been thinking about. But other than that, it's been good. So what did you do today, Kajaria? Y'all know this one of these nights is um when I come on and I'll be like, we on a telephone call, calling to see how each other doing, what y'all did for the day, and then it end up being a conversation about something. And every time I feel like this, I'll be feeling like I'm just gonna come on here and I'm gonna be on here for 30 minutes, and then the next thing I know, we be done got into a conversation, and I'm on here for 2 hours almost. So, uh, I don't know what kind of night this is going to be, but we'll see. How is the soursop tea working for you? I'm a whole vibe. That's a good one right there. I still have been drinking it every single day. Um, okay, hold on, Ryan. I be answering all of those questions like that. I've been drinking the soursop tea every day. And one thing that I want, a couple of things that I can tell you about it. Since I've been drinking it, my blood sugars, I told you, had been up, and they were like in sometimes in the 2 or the 300s. But ever since that I've been drinking the sour sop tea, now I can't necessarily say that it's the sour sop tea doing it. Yes, I don't even know what to say about it right now. But I want to say it's because of it that my blood sugars are staying like this week. The highest is being is 141, and that's without, because if they tell you, okay, like say I if I ate breakfast and I checked my sugar before breakfast and it was 120, um that means my sugar is not high. So I wouldn't give myself a shot at that time, and I'm not finna eat anything that has any carbs or anything involved in it. Well, the next meal that I have, my carbs, my blood sugar is 141. At that time, if I'm getting ready to eat lunch, then I would give myself a shot with that number, which means it's going up. But the next time is like they're all in the 100s, and so we gonna say that's the sour sop. That's the sour sop doing that. I don't know anything else because y'all already know my MRI was um got to be rescheduled. So I don't know, as far as the cancer goes, I don't know what that's doing, but I am in the midst of getting my MRI rescheduled so I can compare what it was like before and what it's looking like now, because remember they had already told me with chemo it had not did any shrinkage at all. So we'll see. Nothing, just chill. I got, oh girl, don't tell everybody that. Hey, Yanela, good morning to you. It's even though it's night over here. Random question. Hi friend. How my greens doing? They doing good, Christina. Ryan said Ryan has a random question. I'm looking at having soul food catered for my birthday. Well, Ryan, why? What make you do soul food? Not that I'm just asking a question. Was wondering if there was anything I should look out for. Certain dishes. When you say look out for, are you asking to know what to order or what not to order? Let's start there first. Hi, friend. How my greens doing? The greens are doing fabulous. They got fertilized and everything yesterday, so they looking very, very good. While my husband is diabetic, would you consider sending me some leaves? I would gladly pay for it. Um, sure, sure. A whole vibe. Um, yeah. For me, I'm telling you. Prior to me taking them, drinking the tea, my sugars were up in the 200s all the time. And now every single one of them are down in the hundreds every single time. And I'm not talking about high 100s. I'm telling you, the highest one this week has been 141. It's either 141 or 149. And to be honest with you, that one, you know how sometimes you getting ready to eat, but you haven't been diabetic for a long, you haven't been diabetic and having to take insulin shots and everything. So it's like sometimes you getting ready to eat, you used to just when it's time for you to eat, you go and eat. You ain't got to think about anything else. So sometimes you get in the midst of eating and then you think, oh shoot, I didn't poke my finger, nor did I give myself my shot before I start eating. So, um, I don't know if that could have contributed to it that it was already taking it up because I had already started eating. So I don't know. I was thinking about ordering some, but I would rather get it from you. Okay, whole vibe. One of the ways you can hit me up is on Instagram, where we can talk in the messages, or you can even talk on the phone over there on Instagram. But hit me up on Instagram and we'll talk about it. Like, what should I be on the lookout for when I'm looking to book a caterer that does soul food? What's best to order? Things to stay away from, and telltale signs if they're a good cook. Ooh, that's a lot, Ryan. That's a lot. And it's according to what area that you're in, and it's gonna be a hit or miss. You might go somewhere, and it's about your taste buds too. I mean, walk into a place, a soul food place, which you can easily type it up in your computer, and look for a soul food place, and go in and order small sides of things or whatever. But I'm gonna tell you that if we were as a family having a get together, and it was it's always soul food involved with that right there. But I, taste the collard greens, the candy yams, the macaroni and cheese, maybe the chicken and the ribs or whatever. Get you like some little samples or something and try it, and then you'll know before then, like, this is who I'm gonna get to cater whatever I'm gonna do. Cause some places I could tell you what it is that you can order or whatever, but maybe you will go to that place and you don't like what it is, the way they make it or whatever. Everybody do their thing different. So you have to go to some places and try some things. And sometimes when you go to a place to have something catered, they'll let you sample some things. So go and sample some things before your birthday, and see what it's like for you. I don't have Instagram. I guess I'll have to download it. Oh my goodness. And then I don't know no other way, like, to tell you, like, to do it. Yeah. I'm just and I don't have you like one of my you know like one of my regular people, and the one that asked about them first, other than people that's like close to me or whatever. But like, yeah, it'll be like first come first serve, because my tree is not that big. But since you asked me about them, I wouldn't mind. Thanks for the help. This was really helpful, Ryan. Well, I hope you have a good time, and I hope it's whatever it is that you eat. I hope it's finger licking good. If you start to lick your fingers and stuff like that, then you done ran into some good soul food. But yeah, go and sample some places or whatever, and see what it is that you like. You might want to cater from two different places. Say, like, you go over to this place right here, and they got macaroni and cheese, and you don't necessarily like the way they macaroni and cheese, but you went to another place and you tried their macaroni and cheese and theirs is better. You might like dishes from this place and dishes from that place, and then you can order catering, a little bit from this one or that one. But yeah, go and try some places out. Or you better you ain't got no good black friend or nothing like that. Sometimes you can get your friend or whatever to like cater for you. You done been over to their house before, and you done sat at their table and they had some good food going there. Yeah, there's ways to getting it done, girl. Go on ahead though. But good luck with you, and happy birthday to you. Happy birthday. So I'm gonna see. Anybody else got any questions? I told you I ain't really got nothing. I ain't really got nothing to talk about tonight, but I'm coming through to see. Are y'all gonna keep on hearing me say then I be saying I ain't got nothing to talk about. I don't got nothing wrote down on no paper, no nothing. Then I start thinking about something, and then just be talking and talking and talking. Don't know how to shut up. But vibe with the soursop every day. Not every day, but I boil the I boil the leaves, and a couple of people had told me that don't just boil your leaves one time. Cause me, I would have boiled them and then got rid of them. But I realized after somebody told me, don't just use them one time. Use them about 3 times. When I used mine the third time, I really didn't like the results of what I got. On the third time, the tea is not as dark. When you use them the third time, so maybe what I would do is I boil them for the 3 times, but on the third time when I boil them, I probably would add some more freshly dried leaves to it. But yeah. And as a matter of fact, it's time for me to go out and it's time for me to get some more leaves off of the tree. Wash them and bring them in for them to be dried for my tea. Because I don't know how many. A daughter. Don't look at me like that. Can you look and see? Can you look and see how many? Just give me the back. HM, whoever. What do you mean? Hair bonnet strikes again. What does that mean? Let me see what you talking about. No, the ones in the bag. Those are the ones that I already used. No, is the bag up there or is it right there in that drawer? What does that mean? The hair bonnet strikes again. You are if I'm taking that the way that I supposed to, you wrote that in there. I would like for you to answer because for those that come through and try to be getting smart with me, you know I'm a smart mouth. I get smart right back with them. And you know I don't view people to be that smart that come over here and be trying to take a dig or whatever. Without fail, every time I go on live, some black chick got a bonnet on. Well, maybe you should stop clicking on black chicks pages or something, or keep on flicking through if you don't like to see no hair bonnet. There's a lot of different reasons why people wear hair bonnets. Did you know that while you're coming over here and you came into this live that I have cancer? And you're right, Jay. This is not a bonnet. It is a hair tie. It is to have your hair covered up. It's either that or Boost Mobile strikes again. I don't know. I just you're on the internet. You're gonna meet all different kinds of people and everything, and maybe the internet may not be for you or whatever. But what what is it about the what yeah, this is not a hair bun, and I actually don't care too much for wearing a hair bun. But here go my soursop leaves. This is what I have left. I need to go and pick some more before um I have to use up the rest of these. Here, can you put it? I defeated the internet. Well, obviously not, because you keep running into people that has it's right there. You keep running into people that have on hair bonnets and you don't like them, but I don't have on a hair bonnet. And if you look at my page, if you look at my page, there's rarely any time that I come on here and I have my hair out, but not for a specific reason, but because I love head wraps. I love them. Love them. So if you don't want to see my thing that you called a hair bonnet, which is not, it's a head wrap. Probably hit that button that says Now, HM, you trying to ask, you want me to have no edges. That's what you should be tired of seeing. You should be tired of seeing somebody with a lace front wig on, and then every time they pull it off, they snatching out half of their hair to go along with it. That is probably something you won't see over here. But I might surprise you one day. I like to switch it up or whatever. But yeah, we we head tie friendly over here. Almost every video you see me on, that's what you gonna see. A hair tie. I have I have probably hundreds of them by now. Hey, Miss America, Erica, Miss America. When you first look at it, it's almost like that. But hey, Miss Erica, right? It's either that or whatever. I can't even see those ignorant comments. A whole vibe. That might be a nice thing. You got your hater blockers on. Thank you, Kenley Johnson. Thank you very much. Don't listen to them haters. Yeah, I don't be listening to. Let me tell you one thing about it. When they come in here and they say something, I be trying to see like where they are, and if initially his comment didn't really seem like off, I just wanted to know where they coming from. But let me tell you one thing about a troll or any of that stuff that get here, he ain't too bad, so I won't delete him or whatever. But the one thing that they don't do is get up under my skin. They really don't. They don't get on my nerve or no nothing like that. If a time you come through and you see me go off on one of them, I'm already having a stressful day. So they come through and then they saying they little digs or whatever, and you hear me going off on one of them, I'm using them like a stress ball. So, and that's it. That's it. I done had them come through and say all kinds of stuff or whatever, but you forgot to mention the eyelash combo. And clearly, I don't got no eyelashes on either. I never had eyelashes anyways before I had chemo or any of that stuff like that. But and even though I wear head wraps before I had cancer, I was wearing head wraps already. I already loved them. And still I have hair. I still have hair on my head, but yeah. This is head wrap nation over here. So if you don't want to see none of that stuff right there, you ain't gonna see no eyelashes. And 9 times out of 10, you ain't gonna never see no lace front over here. So you gotta go to them places where you gonna see that kind of stuff. I have a head full of hair and I keep my head wrapped for modesty's sake. So go forth and be blessed, HM. All right, Coffee, come through and tell them. That's why I said there are several different reasons why people wear head wraps. Mine is I love a head wrap. I do. I love head wraps. I like the way they look on me. I like to color coordinate with what it is that I'm wearing and everything. And I know some people wear them for just the reason that you said. And some people have health issues that they dealing with, and so they use them. So there's all sorts of ways. So be careful when you go in and trying to take a dig or say something, at somebody. How you doing, Miss Erica? I'm not hating. Okay, HM. I'm just making observations. Okay. My girl got some lashes. I almost you almost followed. Don't do that. Now you ain't gotta do all that. Is it the real long big ones that will touch your face before she can give you a kiss on the cheek? Is it them kind of lashes, or is it like lashes that look like regular lashes or whatever? And I see other people with lashes and stuff on, and they look absolutely beautiful on them or whatever. It's just not my thing. I like natural. Today, me and my daughter was talking about. Somebody asked her why don't she wear makeup, and her response was, I hate makeup because she sees so many people that put it on, and then when they take it off, they look nothing like the way they look when they take the makeup off. But I've always liked the natural me. I don't hardly ever wear makeup. I don't hardly ever put hair weave in my head, none of that stuff like that. I'm not absolutely against it either. I just don't. It's not my cup of tea. I like natural. I like natural. You might see me with some lip gloss on or something like that, but yeah, just natural. Hey, Seneca, how you doing today? um, yeah, she ran away. What? Them things look so ghetto. All right, HM. Don't let her come around the corner and catch you in here talking about her, and then you get the one too. No, I'm not Jamaican. I'm from Florida, born and raised. Might be a little country. Hello, Shoshana. Your beauty is going tonight. Thank you, Miss Reese. My girlfriend Jamaican. One of my best friends is Jamaican. I love me some Jamaicans. Yes, yes. Yeah, but I love being natural, but it's all sorts of reasons. The bonnet thing I don't agree with. Now let me tell you something. I go to there's a store back in my hometown. I walked in there, everybody in there got bonnets on their head at work. And I'm like, what in the world is going on here? Now I don't agree with that there, but there is a difference between a bonnet and a head wrap. If you go to work with a head wrap on your head, that's a different thing. But the bonnet that HM, let me show you. There's a difference. This a bonnet right here. Does your friend park on the fire lane or the sidewalk when she go to the stores? I don't know. You over here, you doing stereotypes. This a bonnet. This what a bonnet look like. This is a bonnet. You see that? What I have on is not a bonnet. It's a head wrap. This a head wrap right here. This what I have on my head right here. A head wrap. Difference in the two. Um, I don't know. Does your friend park on the fire lane or the sidewalk when she go to the store? I don't. I ain't never had no friend that park in either one of those places. I don't know what you doing, HM. I ain't got no. I don't got no friends that do ignorant stuff like that. Every Jamaican I ever met do it. Well, the Jamaicans that I know, I ain't never seen them park on the sidewalk, on the fire lane. I ain't never seen it. I think some of the Jamaicans might be like, but let me tell you something. They don't have to be no Jamaican either. You got Americans, you got. I'm sure there are some Floridians that do all of that same stuff. I done seen it all before. It ain't necessarily a Jamaican thing. Carlos T, why you need this? Why you need me to stand up? Stand up for what? Tell you what. I know what a bonnet is. I was messing with you. Oh, okay then. I bet Carlos T, I bake cakes. Don't worry about those kind of cakes. I'm a married woman over here. I love a head wrap too. I need to add more colors. Yes, Miss Riz, I love me some head wraps. My collection got bigger last week. I think I just got like 20 more of them. Yes, not no solid colors. I got a couple of them sitting right here with me, but this another one. I love the colors, bold colors like that right there. But yeah, this is one of my head wraps right here. These ones I done had on and then take it off. I love this print right here. One other one. Um, I got this pink one right here. Y'all see me with this one on. I had a video that I had this one on the other day. I had it with a black one. Y'all see me with this one on before. This one. I don't got none of my new ones sitting here with me, but yeah, I wear head wraps all the time. I love some head wraps. Um, hey Phoenix. Hey girl. Yeah, Carlos T. Even if you would have asked me that, you wouldn't get me to stand up. I'm a married woman, and right now I don't even like my husband, but I still wouldn't do that. I still wouldn't do that for you. I wouldn't do that. I think it's because they don't have fire lanes in Jamaica. They don't. Okay, but I'm telling you again, it ain't just the Jamaicans that do that. It's everybody do that. How far from Memphis? I'm a long ways from Memphis. I'm in Florida. Florida, way away from Memphis. Got Memphis in the house. That's what one of my favorite content creators live up. Well, she from Memphis, Lady Bling. Um, but she done left there now. She went to Texas. She done moved to Texas. Um, oh, she could. Chef in here. Hey, Chef. I ain't seen you. I ain't talked to you in a minute. In a minute. How are you? Hey, Delano. Thank you very much. Terrence. Hi. How are you? Thank you very much. Thank you, thank you, thank you. I think it's because they don't have fire lanes in Jamaica. How far are you from Memphis? I read that already. Delano sent you a marshmallow. Hi, thank you very much for that, Delano. And thank you to Terrence. It's a Terrence kind of thing in the house. How are you? Thank you for the floating hearts and everything. Thank you so much with your busy self. You stay busy over there. Just stay busy. I can't keep up with Terrence Day. I cannot keep up with you be very, very busy. Hey my stickums, I love you. I love you too, Simca. Thank you, Delano. That's a cute son. Thank you very much for that. You're always welcome. I really appreciate that. Thank y'all so much for doing that. How have you been, Terrence, over there? I see you been getting on, and I see you. I had you in my prayers too. I seen you over there. You was reminiscing a little bit, from time to time. That's what we do when we going through. We have memories and everything. Of our moms and stuff like that. So, um, but yeah, mostly all the time, I always see you smiling and everything. Sometimes I don't feel like smiling, and then I come over there and I see you, and I just like, he's so freaking contagious with that smile over there. He just be laughing all the time and smiling and dancing. So I was like, sometimes I don't want to smile, and then I come over there and then hit your button, and then it's like, okay, then it's back. Yeah, I just got a whole bunch of stuff that be piled on top of each other. Thank you again. Thank you. I have so much stuff. It's just like, I guess like this. You ever had them times where you just got a going through season, where you just have a going through season, and I feel like this is my season. It has to be because there's so much stuff that done happened to me in such a short amount of time. And so thank you very much. There's so much stuff that happened to me in such an amount of time. It's like sometimes I feel like when I let it come out of my mouth, and then I don't even tell y'all about everything that I'm going through. Some things you keep to yourself, but I feel like some of the things that I don't tell you all are heavier than the things that I do tell. that I do say to you all. HM, if you got a question, go ahead and ask the question. That's one thing I don't mind over here is a question. Long as you respectful with your question, and also remember I have the right to decline to answer your question. But I can also do that respectfully. But we grown folks over here. Um, but some of the things that I don't talk about is heavier than the things that I actually have on there. It's almost like when you got cancer, some people might think that's like the hardest thing like you can go through. Well, right now I'm not doing the chemo. Not that I quit or anything like that, but y'all that know already know what's going on with that. But there's things that are heavier on my mind than those things. But why can't women admit when they are wrong? Um, See, HM, I don't know too much about that right there because I'm not that kind of a woman. And you have to give me a scenario and we can definitely have a conversation. I'm with this sound like it could be a very, very good conversation. Um Give me a scenario or what you're talking about when you say why can't women admit because I'm good at taking accountability for when I am wrong and I did something wrong. Um, so that wouldn't be me, and I have sons that's in this world. So I always think that when I'm saying something about or towards somebody, I always think about how I would want my sons to be treated in that situation. So I don't necessarily take all. I don't believe everything a woman say, nor do I believe everything that a man say because I got sons and I got daughters in this world. I got 14 children moving around in this world somewhere. So yeah, you got to give me a scenario or something like how many women that's in here that can't admit when they're wrong. Why can't women admit when they are wrong? I can admit when I'm wrong, but how many women in here that don't like to admit when they're wrong? Yeah, yeah. It's a I agree. I take accountability as well. It might take me a minute, literally 1 to 5 minutes after I've made my mistake. And yes, sometimes people you initially if you think you're right, you stand on what it is. But when the minute that you know you're wrong, you should be able to say, "Up, I messed up." You know, it, everybody gonna mess up. Ain't nobody here perfect. So Terrence said it is an interesting topic. But where you at, HM? You don't put that in there and then you done ran. What you did, ran? I don't know. Did you think that I was gonna be one of them that say I'm never wrong? And let me tell you something. A lot of things that I talk about, I go based off of my discernment. And I'm telling you, my discernment is so on point that I question myself sometimes. I do. Sometimes I feel like I want to be wrong with the discernment that I have. Sometimes I don't want to be right with the discernment that I have. Um, but do I have a problem with admitting that I'm wrong? Nope, I don't. Phoenix say I feel that hot feeling in my face, and I know I done wrong. Shoshana, you always take accountability. Yeah, I can definitely say, like, when there's plenty of times, there's plenty of videos that I can say thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you very much. Yeah, nobody is perfect, but there's many times right here that I can come on and say, you know, there's been a lot of I've told a lot of stories in situations that I was dead wrong, even in situations that I even have told that I could be doing prison time right now for some of the things that I've done, and some of the things that I was ready to do. No, I was dead wrong. Um, I could tell you a quick story right now where I knew I was wrong the moment I thought about it, and I still went through and did it. And there was an account. Uh, there was definitely what goes around comes around, and it came back. Came back to me. But no, I don't have a problem. Or hear someone else's perspective, and you go, oh, um, hear that I got you. I was wrong. Okay, here HM ain't go nowhere. Okay, social tell double standards. Feminist women are socialized to appear emotionally strong or morally superior, which can make admitting fault seem like a weakness. I can, I think I can kind of see where you coming from, because you got some women that believe in you gotta support every single woman in every single thing that she say. But see, the way my train of thought thinks that if I support every single thing that every woman speaks up for or says or does or whatever, then where does that leave my sons at in this world? So that's kind of how I think about it. And then of somebody's, yeah, that's just the way that I think about things. That's deep, Shauna, but I completely understand. Thank you very very much. Hey Rue, hey girl. Okay, so I'll tell you about a story um where I knew that I was wrong. um I hate this story too, but I can be honest and tell the truth. I was dating this guy. This been 30 years ago almost. I was dating because I've been married now for 25 plus years. Um, and this guy was messing around with, I don't know how many other women he was messing with too. But anyways, I found out about this one girl that he was messing around with, and he had got her an apartment. And on his car keys was her apartment key. And I was looking for him this one night, and I couldn't find him. And so I went to the apartment, and I opened her door with the keys, and she was in the house. No, I didn't open the door with the keys. No, I didn't. I actually knocked on the door, and she twisted the doorknob because she thought it was him, but I was driving his car, so she just kind of like popped the door open, and just let it crack open or whatever. She didn't completely open the door. She was expecting him to come through the door. Um, and she didn't have on any clothes either. um, and when she turned around and realized that it was me, I asked her, "Was he over there?" And it went from there. But um, and we didn't get into no fight or no nothing. We had a couple of words or whatever, but I knew that it was her place or whatever. But I was in the place that I was in at the time, young and dumb. and I made that decision. And I knew I was wrong the minute that I did it. I didn't have to wait for nobody to tell me that I was wrong. I knew I was wrong right from the get go, because I wouldn't want nobody to pop up to my house. So um yeah, I'm just, I know that's right, Phoenix, him too. Not just know me too. But yeah, I don't have if somebody can tell me something that I done wrong, it doesn't take me a long time to stand in what I did. If somebody's standing there telling me you did X, Y, and Z, I'm that one that I will say, and I did. Yes, I did that, and yes, I did that. We had this partial conversation about this the other night, where you ever been talking to somebody and they're doing something like right there in the moment that you're doing it, and it may be something that you did before, but it doesn't matter if their person is doing it and it's wrong in that moment, and you point it out, and because they don't want to be wrong in the moment, they'll say, well, you did it too, you did it, it could have been last year or something, they pointed out, and I'll be like, and I've been in that situation a lot of times. And for me, I always say, yes, I did, and I did do it, but how does that change that right now in this moment you did this thing and you don't want to stand in it? See, I can still stand in the moment of them being wrong, and if I did that same exact thing that they did, and and I'm not necessarily bashing them for it, but I'm just pointing it out that you did that, and if it's wrong, it's just wrong. Yeah, that's all. At some point, we all been wrong, and actually, I'm dealing with a situation um right now in my life where somebody is just very perfect. They never make any mistakes. They flawless. And it's very, very irritating. Never takes any accountability for anything that they do wrong. They never wrong. They do everything right. It's just I'm always wrong. And I'm telling you, the things that I do, I don't care is the good, the bad, the ugly. Um, I can stand in. I can stand in what it is that I got going on. But and I can tell you also too, when a person can't stand in they think and they can't admit to what they said, or they don't want to hear what nobody's saying those times, I can't tell you how frustrating that is for me. So, and I'm dealing with on a daily basis. Um, that we got a perfect person. um, that ain't never wrong. So, and it's very frustrating. But in my opinion, that ain't that's not me. So for HM said that why can't women admit when they wrong? I'm not her. So maybe there are some people that have issues in that area. Um I actually come from a place where I could never ever do anything right. Everything that I did, I was I I was doing it in the right way. I couldn't go to the store and buy cookies. I couldn't do that right. If I came back walking with somebody else to go and get those cookies, that person that I'm walking with calls me to be take a long time to go and buy those cookies. If I say I didn't do something, they say I did do something. I can do everything in the world, and then I got a person that tell me that I don't do nothing. Um I could clean up something and then they'll say that I didn't clean it up. My whole life, I've had people telling me that I do the opposite, and this is not the first time that I've said this. I've had plenty of people that I've said this to. I talk about it quite a bit because it's been the story of my life. And there's a couple of times, if you're in my members, you can see some of those videos of where it gets very irritating that somebody's constantly telling you you're the opposite of who you really are. So, and that's those people that be gaslighting you. And all you have to do is look back at your own story and you can tell yourself the truth. I never used to look back and say, do you really do those things or whatever? And you can answer your own self and see your own story. Sometimes you just, whatever they be saying, it let's just get into your head and get up under your skin, and it gets very annoying to you, which is where I was probably like a year ago. It's just like I couldn't handle it anymore, and so it's been a couple of times that I done lost it on here, punched a couple of doors, cussed a couple of people out, and everything. So it is what it is. I don't mean you personally, but think of all your female friends, associates, and family members. How many times have they admitted fault and be fully accountable out loud? HM, boy, you digging up my whole family history. I got several things going on in my family, and there's women definitely in my family that can't admit or take accountability for anything that they do. And sometimes I think people can't take accountability for it because they're not really ready to face the truth and the change, that thing that it is that they got going on the inside of them. So, and for those people that ain't ready to take accountability for stuff like that right there, sometimes you got to walk away from them and you have to leave them right there where they are until they ready to move on to that place, because they'll have you stuck right along with them. So yeah, no, I've definitely met those people. But also, HM, it doesn't only apply it the same way we have women like that, there are men like that too. I've ran into both of them. No accountability at all, won't admit to anything that they do wrong. They just want to point out everybody else's flaws, but they won't never admit to any of the flaws that they have going on. Personally, myself, I've ran into both sides. It's not just women, it's men too. And both sides don't take no accountability. So imagine you standing there and you can take accountability for everything that you've done. You can admit to everything you done without them even calling it out. I'll call it out faster than they will. Um, but they ain't willing to admit nothing about their own self. Thank you, Phoenix. I've only known who you were for a few months, and I can truly say you are a blessing. Thank you. Thank you, a whole vibe. Thank you. Yeah. I'm a person, I'm full of flaws. Full of flaws. Made plenty of mistakes in my life. But I can stand in my own stuff, because ain't now let the first one without any sins or flaws throw the first stone inside the glass house. I ain't throwing none. I ain't throwing none. Cause I got a whole bunch of flaws, whole bunch of them. Yes, I do. But I can admit to them. There's people that you can point out the things that they do, and they ain't gonna never admit to nothing. They just gonna keep on pretending like they perfect. And I ain't met a perfect person yet. And I'm fine with people not being perfect. I really am. I'm fine without them being perfect. Um, Actually, I don't think I'll be able to hang out with a person that's perfect. I wouldn't be able to. And you mean to tell me you never did anything wrong? You never make any mistakes? Yeah, I couldn't do it. And I wouldn't believe them anyways. Well, and who do we have to hold ourselves accountable to? Strangers or those closest to us? Do we owe explanations to strangers? I don't think so. Um, I really don't. I don't really think we owe anything to anybody. Um, but I do believe that you treat people the way that you wanted to be treated. That's that's the one thing that been in my life that I constantly think of. Um, Whether it was good, bad, or indifferent, I learned a lot of stuff from my mom, and a lot of it, I've had some good times with her, but I would love to say that it was 50-50, but I can't say that because more of my life, my mom passed away when I was like 23 or 24. I can't even remember right now at this time. So my up until I was 16 years old, we had the worst relationship because she never everything that I did, she believed the opposite of whatever I did. If I tried to do the miraculous, um, I would always be treated as if I did the worst thing ever. I could never do anything right in her eyesight, and then it's just like one day, like I woke up and I couldn't take it anymore. Um, Good night. Um, I had a lot of bad times with her. You know, she never believed what I said, and if I tried to say it, even though I was respectful with it, I never would raise my voice. I actually had a fear of her. Um, it was like you couldn't advocate for yourself, is what I would call it. You know, like somebody, you're trying to tell somebody you did something or you didn't do something, and then they don't allow you to speak. Oftentimes you I was told to shut up. So I couldn't ever advocate for myself. I wouldn't say defend myself because never in a million years would I try to defend myself. Um, and I try and make y'all understand. And you know, some may think that I be bashing my mom, but I don't be bashing her. Only thing is I can just tell you the truth about what happened. So imagine being a 5 year old and somebody took you away from home and they didn't get your mom's permission, and it's a man, and he took you and kept you away for a certain amount of times, and then he brought you back home. If the guy is like 19, 20 years old, then you can't blame a 5 year old for going missing with a 20-year old. But when I came back, I don't remember her saying anything to the 20-year old. It doesn't mean that I didn't say that she didn't say anything to him. I don't remember that. But what I do remember is that I got a whooping for getting kidnapped. And so when you grow up in that environment, even though that it was a toxic situation, there is still things that I learned from it because it put something. What I could have did was I could have carried on the relate. I could have carried that into doing all of those things to my kids. And I'm not saying that it wasn't a time that I think, because my first two kids was born before I was 16 years old. Um and you do what it is that you're taught, but the minute that I start to mimic some of the things that she did, the thought inside of my head was, how did it make you feel when those things happened to you? So you don't want to continue to do those things because you don't want your kid to feel the way that you feel when those things was happening to you. So, um, which made me kept me going in the right direction, I would say. Well, and who do we have to hold? Okay, then I read that, because then again, it comes down to the scenarios. Scenarios. You're asking for who are we holding ourselves accountable to when life is falling apart. Um, Let me tell you something. In this day and age, the only person I hold myself accountable to is, because for so long in my life I looked at people and I didn't want people to think this way about me, that way about me, or this way. And I'm here to tell you today, if I had to say it in the way that I had to say it to let you know how much I care, I don't give a damn. I don't give a damn about how nobody think about me, whatever about me. Do I hate that? If you make up something in your mind about me, yeah, I don't want you to have the wrong idea about who I am. But do I really give a damn that you think of me in that way? No. I used to care about how my neighbors see things or think about things. The other day, I'm telling you, me and my husband was going at it in front of one of the neighbors the other day, and he the only one concerned about the neighbors here. Now, I don't give a damn about what none of them think. If you doing something and it is the truth, it is what it is. Like, I don't have any time for that. But who I do care about and who I do hold myself accountable for is the good Lord up above, because some kind of in my life I feel like I got the banana peel effect. The minute I mess up, I know it's coming back to me, and I know I'm gonna be chastised for it. So I don't really hold people in those type of situations. Like, I hold myself accountable to God. It's like I get it right then. Um so then I ask you, do you shorten do we shorten our circles and hold ourselves accountable to God, ourselves and our spouse and our children, and build it on a foundation and start small, close out the rest, close out the rest? Yeah, sometimes they have to get shorter than that. Sometimes they have to get short. Sometimes they have to be shorter than that. Because I'm telling you right now, in the position that I'm in, yeah, I can't be it right now. There's times that I'm saying, um, and God knows I love him. I love my kids. I love my husband, but right now I don't like him. Sometimes I don't like my kids sometimes, and that's just the reality of it. Just you people just won't say it. And the truth of the matter is, there's sometimes that if you're the right kind of parent, your kids ain't gonna like you either at times. um because who nobody wants to be held accountable, nobody wants to be in trouble or whatever. And sometimes you just don't like each other. Don't mean that you hate each other, but there's times that when you get in situations like that, the only person you got in your mind is the closest thing to you to keep you accountable is God. Because sometimes you can lose control with some of those people. Um, but that's who I hold myself accountable to. Many women are socialized to be non confrontational, um, and maintain harmony. HM, though that first sentence is that's that's me. That's partly me, but let me read the rest of your sentence. Instead of openly admitting fault or addressing conflict directly, they avoid it. I am one of those people. I don't like conflict. And for the most part, I try to mind my own business. And I know some people, if some of my family was listening to it, they'll be like, she lying. And no, really. I try to mind my own business. But the moment somebody asks me a question that got to do with whatever it is, you may not want to ask me because I'm not going to give you the answer that you want. If you ask me, you subject yourself to whatever my opinion is and whatever my belief is, not what it is that you think you're gonna get. You gonna get whatever it is that I feel is the right thing, and then I will address it. I just try to like mind my own business. I am very opinionated lately, and I'll tell you why. What makes me so opinionated, that when you're a child growing up and you made to um not be able to tell the things that's happening to you. Like, I've been quiet my whole life. I wasn't allowed to cry. I wasn't allowed to tell because nobody didn't believe me. Nobody did anything. There's just so many different things that happened in my life that made me be quiet as a younger child. But it's like now, sometimes I even say I talk too much. I will. I'll say that. I'll say that for myself. Sometimes it's just like I don't have no filter. I don't know when to shut up about stuff. Like, sometimes I come on here and I don't necessarily want to talk about what happened in my life, but sometimes it just like pour out, especially if somebody in the chat say something about it or whatever. If it come out, it just come out, and then after then I'm just like, it is what it is. Use sarcasm or silence, deflect blame, subtle play the victim, or guilt trip. This can come across as avoiding responsibility, even if the intent is emotional self protection. Well, I got somebody who does that to me. Won't take no accountability, but then will try and guilt trip you in some other kind of way. So, HM, I don't know who you is, but you hitting some strong points, and I don't necessarily disagree with anything you're saying. It's like you speaking into some of the situations that I'm going through right now, and it's just very, very funny. But I still would say to you, it is not a thing that is solely aimed at women. I think on both sides there is men and women that suffer with this thing. Me, I can get right to the point. I hate when people be beating around the bush and trying to call out something that you do or whatever. If you're trying to call me out on something that I do, just go ahead and flatly say it out. And if they don't flatly say it out, I don't mind saying it my own self. I know what you're hinting at. Well, I'm gonna go ahead and say X, Y, and Z. You trying to say that I did X, Y, and Z? Yeah, I did it. Okay, now can we move along to when you gonna take accountability for what you did? So while I didn't know that, I have a similar background, raised in foster care, so on and so on, but I still rise. Amen to that, Vibe. Look, Vibe, I keep telling people that sometimes people don't know the reason I speak the way that I speak. If you go back to a year in my videos, in my shorts and stuff, you'll get the story about all of the different things that happened to me. And I think at this point, since I've been on YouTube, I probably made it up to telling my stories till I was about age 12, and I paused because I'm not ready to touch um that part of my life. I can feel it like coming on, but there's a pause in it. And the reason I came on and started telling my stories is just like I started losing sleep at nighttime. It was like the stuff that happened to me back in the day started to torment me and keep me woke at nighttime. And then I began to find peace with coming on here and talking about the things that happened to me versus journaling and writing it down. Journaling was no longer serving me um, or helping me get through the things that I needed to get through. So I came on here to start screaming it out loud to the world. But yeah, and I wasn't in foster care. But my mom was adopted. So I often think back to um being that she was adopted. I wonder what happened to her while she was with the people who she was with, because whoever raised her had to teach her the things that she was doing to me, in my opinion. Um, that's just what I think about now. My mom never talked about being adopted. You know, you can get the the certificates after they pass away. You can get the birth certificates and everything. I actually got her birth certificate, and in her birth certificate, I see where her mom's name was redacted from her birth certificate, and on her birth certificate, an adoptive mom was there. So she never talked about it or any of that stuff. So just in my me, I like to dig back into. At one point in my life, it's just like I spent this whole time and I was just going digging back into our family history and everything. And I started finding out so much stuff. And I found like a lot of generational curses and stuff like that. That is mad crazy. But yeah, she never talked to us about that. But she also knew her real mom. She knew her real mom, and at a certain point, we were with her biological mom, but me never knowing that she wasn't raised by her like that. So, you know, yeah. And then there's a part of me is that I can go back and look at it, and I was like, for some of those reasons, I'm glad that she wasn't raised by her biological mom, because I don't know what all was going on there. When you're at a younger age, like, you see things differently than you do when you get your adult eyes. Like, you have a whole nother set of eyes when you become adult. Kids think they know everything, but then when you grow up and then you get those other set of eyes, you see things a lot different. Like, one of my son is in his 30s, and me and him was sitting in the car talking to each other one day, and I asked him, "Do you realize that I was 16 years old when I had you?" And he turned around and looked at me, and it's like he never did the math. He used to call me his sister all the time, and I was like, "Why you say that?" He's like, "Cause you was young when you had me or whatever." And he was like, "We about the same age, cause our birthday is like 7 days apart." Um, I had him literally 7 days before I turned 17 years old. And I had my first one uh 20 days after I turned 15. So I was basically a 14-year-old and a 16-year-old with two children, but also raising my mama's kids. And I wasn't going to go back into this story or whatever, but my son was sitting there talking to me. And when he realized that I said to him that I was that young when I had him, and now he can look and see that he's got sisters, and the way, like, they move and they do things, he looked at me, he was like, "Golly, ma," he was like, I ain't understand." You were super duper young, super young. And he's just like shocked. Yeah. And so when he sees it one way, in this one way, when he think you did such a horrible job, realizing that at 16 years old you actually did pretty good to be so young, and with and I was raising 5 children at 16 years old. But anyways, y'all have to go back in the backstories because it's almost like I'm living back in the moment when I start to talk about these things because I'm literally like visualizing it in my head. But I'm sorry, I'm a whole vibe that you have that same kind of background. It's like no people like that are like drawn to me. um I told you I have a lot of stories in my history. Hey, Miss Parker. How you doing, Miss Parker? Hey, Raven. Good morning, one and all. Um, but isn't that kind of a thing for human nature? Self-preservation. Yeah, self-preservation is like major. Keep on paying attention to that. Keep on paying attention. Okay, can you at least agree that men hold others accountable more often than women do? HM, you steady digging in that, you digging in that sore spot right now because I'm in a position right now. I'm in a position right now. Absolutely, I do believe that. To a certain extent. Yes, I do believe men will hold people more accountable than women will. But I also believe that um, women should hold other women accountable, especially if you're friends or they're your loved ones, and men should hold men accountable um, for the things that they do. But I can agree with that in my opinion, which is why families and organizations without strong patriarchal figures are less successful and cohesive. Um, I agree with you on that last part. I'm telling you, out of all the stuff that I'm going through right now, I would not want to raise. If I had a decision to raise my kids alone by myself versus raising them along with their dad or whatever, even though I wish some things could have been different or whatever, I absolutely would not choose to do it by myself. I believe if it take a man and a woman to make a child, there's a job that they both have to do, and children be off balance when they don't have um, both parents participating in it. Can a woman raise a child by herself? Absolutely. Can a man raise a child by themselves? Absolutely, you can when necessary. But there's something always going to be missing that the child screams for. And one of the things that really taught me is that I've raised other people's children before, and it doesn't matter how good of a job you do as a mother or how good of a job you do as a father. If one or the other is missing, there's always that thing that they're gonna be in search of. And no matter how good you are to them and how much you think you can fill in those shoes, those children that don't have those parents there or whatever, they still be looking for them and expecting something from them, even when they not there. So, hi, yes, I love these talks, so therapeutic. Hey, Tasha Speaks. How are you tonight? I have to get some sleep, but I will be getting my Instagram set up so we can chat. I gotta get some rest. Good night, whole vibe. It's always good to have you in here. Thank you very much for coming through. Yeah, I did. I did good because I had my first at 20, and baby, I feel too young to. Yet, that's one of the things that I tell my kids. Like, even at 20 years old, I wouldn't. I would I be, and I say this loosely, would I be okay if you got pregnant at 20 years old? Yeah, I'd be okay because I'll say you got past your teen years and everything, and you did better than what I did, and I thank God for that. But would I want if they was married, and they was 20 years old and they having a baby, be a different situation. Go ahead, because I know what it feel like to try and raise one by one, two, three, being single. So I wouldn't want that. I wouldn't want that for my kids to be to be single parents. I just don't want that. Now, if it happened, it happened. But I wouldn't want them to be single parents. I just I wouldn't find myself like extremely excited that they were single and having a baby. I just went. My son is a single parent. He got a kid by himself, um, and it ain't the easiest thing in the world. Looking beautiful as always, Lady T. Thank you, Lulu Moon. How are you tonight? Children always want to know their mama or their daddy, no matter how dirty. Absolutely, and with all of the stuff that you done been through, and if you got this kind of background, it don't matter. Sometimes it don't matter what kind of hell your parents put on you. It's always still like there's still some kind of, you still are yearning for them to like love you. You still keep going back to them only for them to keep doing the same thing over and over again. Um, to you. So, and I only know that because I experienced it. Um, but yeah, blessed to see your smiling face. Thank you very much. Thank you. So yeah, I still believe, HM, that there's there's work for us all to do on both sides. We don't there's some on the women's side and there's some on the men's side that can't admit when they wrong. But I really appreciate it. I think this conversation was supposed to, well, it is supposed to happen because we had the conversation. But I really appreciate you coming through and asking all the questions that you had. Even though I thought in the beginning you was trying to be one of them mean trolls or something that came through. But HM, you can't. I'm happy that I just stayed in the place that I was then and didn't get too emotional about what it is that you saying or whatever. But yeah, you brought up some pretty valid points and was able to get a little into a question. You ain't scared to ask no questions, no matter how somebody feel or whatever. Um, I only experienced love from my parents. I had a happy child. Raven, that is absolutely amazing. That is absolutely. And do you ever find yourself like in a position if you hear somebody talking about their parents and it's not necessarily in the best way, but they telling about a truth that happened in their life? Does it bother you? Because I've seen some people, it's because sometimes when you're telling about your childhood, because a person that had a great parent, they can't imagine, they're putting their parents in that space. um but everybody doesn't have the parent that you have. So they forget to like, don't put your parents in those shoes. Um you have to let them tell the story, and you have your story. HM, you a mess. You a mess. Hair bunny strikes again. Yeah, we had that whole conversation. You right back where you started from when you first came in. But that means we came full circle, right? Full circle. We right back where we started from. I feel for them for not being as lucky as me. Absolutely, Raven. You were. It's a blessing to be able to say that. Um, and us that's been through those type of things, we wish that we had, but it's not the cards that we were dealt, and you can't go back and do anything about it. You can't go back and change it. The only thing you can do is move forward. But it's hard to hear somebody tell the stories of that. And too, when I hear people that tell good stories about it, it kind of make me go to like a winter wonderland place, and in my mind, what would it be like to live in that type of situation? And funny, it kind of brings about like a sadness, and that's just the honest truth. It kind of brings about a sadness that you didn't have that. But there's nothing you can do to go back and change it. It is what it is. But all right, y'all, we've been on here for an hour and a half. Um, Godly, I made it through the whole live without shedding any tears. But yeah, just for a moment, like it's almost trying to put your try on somebody else's shoes, but the shoe too small. Yeah, accept and move forward, hoping to make it better. Yeah. You going back to work, HM? Yeah. Sometimes it's like you know, like I said, it's like a winter wonderland. You didn't have that. Um and as a little child you dreamed of it, but it didn't happen. So yeah. But you all have a good night. I gotta give my little garden spiel. For those of you all who don't know, I love, love, love the garden. I have a garden. Sometimes when I come on here, you will catch me in the garden. I believe in growing on the inside and growing on the outside, and I also believe in tying the two of them together and letting your real garden be a manifestation of what's really happening, of the things that's happening in your life. I can't tell you how many times I thought my life was going downhill, but because I tied my garden to what it is that I'm doing in my real life, and my garden speaks to me about my real life, I know today is one of the things that encourages me to keep moving in the way that I will, with all of the different things that I'm going through at this time. Um, so if you're not out in the garden, grow you some food. Use the stuff you get from the grocery store and become a high class gardener, because that's what we is over here. And now, what does a high class gardener mean, Miss Shauna? A high class gardener just means we don't mess around with no bugs, no snakes, no worms, and no frogs. And sometimes people show up in those ways. And so we don't mess with them either. We kind of put them over in the corner and pray for them until, they get in the right standing or whatever. But that's what we do. We grow food. We don't play around with none of those kind of things over here. And if you would like to become a high class gardener, all you have to do is hit the subscribe button, like the videos, and turn on that notification bell so you can get notifications, so we can come over here and talk about how we growing in real life and in the garden at the same time. But I appreciate you all for joining me, where this is Life with Tashana, where life is like a box of chocolate, and you never know what you're going to get with the conversations that we be having over here, that is. But until next time, you all have an amazing night and see y'all next time.